time. I was only 16 when I met my wife. I took her out on a date, yeah, they were good old times. I never once was late for a Friday night. We lived at least 2 towns apart. I sneak out of my parents' house after dark, throwing rocks out the window till she'd appear. And if I close my eyes, I can almost see, because I fell in love at 1993. I fell in love and I'm never going back to sleep. So I told her I did, and she said she did too. We got a 2-room apartment and they take out food. It wasn't even a year away. The doctor says it's a girl and have you picked a name. And if you meet some boy 2 towns apart, I'll be up till dawn watching for his car. But for now I'm up every night and day. I wouldn't have had it any other way, because I fell in love at 1993. I fell in love and I'm never going back to sleep. Sweet little thing got me wrapped around her finger. I fell in love back in 1993. We go back and talk to me still. I'd like to introduce you to the Sixers now. So this song's called 1993, and what we're going to do is we're going to use a timeline to do these introductions. We're going to work backwards. So, in 2010, my friend Chip, who I'd met in an incredible band called The Alternate Roots that we've been friends with for years, he'd gotten off the road. He didn't want to travel so much anymore. And I said, Chip, I really like this record you produced for my friend Luke Brindley. Would you consider maybe coming out on a cruise ship with us? You don't have to do any work. We're just going to be playing this thing. Just come on out. So he agreed, and we hung out. And a couple days in, I said, you know, man, you're just sitting around. Why don't you come up and play a little bass with us or whatever? So he did, and shortly thereafter, we went overseas to play some shows for our armed forces. And I said, you know, Chip, it's kind of your duty to your country to come play with the Sixers, I think, so why don't you just come over and do these things? It'll just be a week and learn a few more tunes. And towards the end of that, you know, we were hanging out, I said, Chip, why don't you just learn like another 40, 50 songs and come on the road with us? And he agreed, and that was one of the best things that happened that year. Give it up for Chip Johnson. Rewind it back to 2007. We're once again out on a boat called the Rock Boat that we've done many times over here. Boots comes and gets me in my cabin and says, you gotta see this pedal steel player. This guy's awesome. So I go up and I see this guy playing pedal steel. I can't hear anything he's doing, but I think he looks so cool. So I say, all right, man, let's go get some ice cream. Let's have a chat. And we did. And a few years passed by, we stayed in touch. And once again, I said we were going to do some more shows overseas. I said, you're off? Come on, why don't you join us? So he came over and he joined us overseas, and we had a little wine, and I said, look, I would pay you half of whatever you're making on the gig you're on, and you'll work twice as hard. And he said, amen. And that's why I love Steamer Guest. Now we're going to kick it back to about 2001. I'm in Boston, Massachusetts. I played my first ever sold-out show. It's my birthday. The band quits right after the gig. They said, you know, man, we can't do this for that much money, because they were getting $50 each. But I didn't I gave them what I had, and I said, all right. So I'm driving down the highway, kind of concerned about my future in music, thinking, where am I going to find somebody to play with? And I stop at a rest stop, and I see this guy who I'd recognize from campus, and he's wearing a sweater tucked into his blue jeans. He's got a long ponytail. He's got clogs on. I mean, he looks rough, you know, but I had heard he was a really good musician, and what I had heard was absolutely correct, and it was a great thing that I got to meet Goose Carlson. Let's go back to the 90s. 1999. We're at the University of Massachusetts, and my buddy brings over his kind of hippie friend, beads around his neck and, you know, long hair. And we drink a bunch of like oatmeal, nut, wheat stout, and we're like, let's jam in my cabin I was living in. And we said, no man, let's only jam on 70s Motown songs tonight. Let's just do that. Which is just funny. It's like what you do when you're starting out. You just narrow the field to like, we don't know how to play that many songs anyway, but let's just play Marvin Gaye tonight, like, you know. And Marvin Gaye we did. We got it on. Me and Bruce Factor. So I blink my eyes and I'm thinking that this can't be right. That little miss became a woman overnight. She getting married and she says that he's a lot like me. I asked if he's got long hair and is he OCD. All I know is that I fell in love in 1993. I fell in love and I'm never going back to sleep. I still like your conversation and you're still looking good to me.